Welcome. I'm Dice, and I'm joined again by Azala.
Hello again.
We're catching back up. Last week, we made a machine gun turret shoot a wall. And we are still exploring the Lake Brescia that is now a crystalline field.
And it still looks pretty cool,
It just looks like mountains at this point.
but they're crystal.
Yeah, that's totally some roadway.
Yeah.
So this is the techniques. I've been using Libra to get some additional information up to this point, and this is now the tutorial talking about using Libra. We have no other techniques available. They come primarily through the Crystarium. And what the tutorial is really stressing is that by using Libra, you will be able to use auto battle more effectively, and by extension, your party members will also use the correct elements that they know are have a weakness to the enemy that they're fighting.
It's cool how they give you the tutorial after it's already been available.
Yep. I mean, I prefer when games let you experiment. I kind of wish the tutorials... I had a better idea what the tutorials were going to talk about, but the tutorials are actually relatively unobtrusive. And they are at least relevant to the combat that you're doing a lot of times. It's not just front-loading everything. So I don't think it's a bad system.
Just stay out of my way.
Oh no, he's charging his power.
Is this the first behemoth-like
No,
enemy
this
that's
is-
been encountered? I don't think it is.
We fought a beta behemoth in the chapter 1.
Right, so this one's now alpha,
Yeah.
and is green.
And so he's treated like a boss fight. But spoilers, he becomes a regular enemy.
JRPG where bosses become normal enemies. That's crazy.
And yeah, so I got a single stagger on him, and the stagger drain on them is so slow that he just melted.
Look at that. They're sending in cruisers. Primark must be sweating bullets, mobilizing ships like that.
Again, Saz seeming to know an awful lot about, like, military stuff.
So in the data log, it does tell you that Saz is a pilot.
Okay.
So I don't know how much there's a civilian pilot force, but so we can kind of assume that maybe he's military or ex-military pilot. Man, it looks like a robot face.
Yeah. Weird.
Sweep team, form ranks!
They must be hunting down Purge survivors.
I hope everyone made it out okay.
So do I. But nowhere is safe for them now. Damn it! Just cause they shared a neighborhood with a foul sea. They get treated like post-tainted rats.
People really hate Pulse, don't they?
Not hate. More like fear. Tens of millions of people, all scared of Pulse boogeymen. They'd be shaking in their beds every night if they knew that Lassie like us were around.
But they purged that entire town.
It's crazy, I know. But the Sanctum Falsi did nothing to stop it. Up until now, Eden's always stepped in. correct their errors in judgment. Guess humans aren't worth the effort. Figure they'll let us just kill each other off.
The sea are not human.
Listen, you, that's enough.
Hope was a cheery kid. Now he's just self-deprecating.
We're still alive. That's something.
What?
Where is it?
I don't know.
They're sealing off the area. They're trying to trap the stragglers. We gotta get moving before we're caught in the net.
Do you guys want to go send a search party up to the group of like 5 people hanging out on top of the hill?
Well, they were obviously shrouded,
Yeah.
so they weren't able to detect them. I like during that cutscene that Saz does point out it's more fear than hate.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's actually pretty important to understanding the motivations behind what's going on.
The data log also talks about the purge. This was the first purge. Like it kind of sounds like there may have been previous events along these lines, but this is the first official purge. And here I'm showing what using Libra in combat. You can also bring up the information on them, but you don't really have to do that unless there's bonus information about the enemy. Like you need a don't attack when it has its tail out type thing. But apparently it was like next day. They found the Lassie. The next day the Primarch was like, yo, we're purging this, and then it was basically just approved.
Yeah.
And so it's drastic times, drastic measures type discussion was happening, I guess. But there was no previous purge, so they basically orchestrated this entire thing over the course of like 3 days.
Yeah, and I think we mentioned last time when even talking about the Fal'Cie, like, obviously it had been there for a while, and things like that had been present in Cocoon before, but not in the lifetime of like anybody that would be alive currently.
Yeah.
So it's probably the same deal with like the Purge, where they may have happened before, but like not in anybody's recent memory.
It's been relatively peaceful since the last major war. Yeah, these guys just focus. It's hard to burn them down with the abilities we have at this point. Once they charge up, they're basically just trying to bring one person down.
You just gotta hope it's not the main character that you're controlling.
Yeah. That's really the aggravation point of the combat system is if you try to use your main character and you try to tank with your main character, you're basically just setting yourself up for failure. Unless you have the skills to definitely not die while being a tank. Or if you're not using a person that can grab aggro in some capacity, there's just a chance that you'll have to
Sure would have made things easier.
really play catch up and get your main character healed up fast. It gets a little better once the HP pools get a little bigger, but I'm not sure we really talked about it at this point, but every time you leave combat, you get full healed. There's no poison status or anything like that that carries through combat either. What that let them do is design combats where they know what you're walking in with, so they can be a little bit more aggressive with the amount of HP damage they do and stuff like that.
And especially because they kind of gate off where you can possibly be in the Crystarium grid. between those two things, they have a lot of like tight control over what you have available in each encounter.
Yeah, I'm not even really sure how much cross roll they expect you to do, but you can almost hit hard cap on Crystarium without doing many extra fights during most of this standard progression.
Well, especially now when you have relatively few rolls available.
Oh yeah.
Really
On
have
each
to go this
character.
way? I'm too old for this.
Like how everybody splits up to go their own way.
I ain't be able to see.
The jumping in this
Getting any
game
younger.
does remind me a lot of how Final Fantasy X handled it. I think it calls it out a little bit better.
Whoa. How high is
I
this
remember
thing? I don't think I'm gonna make it.
in Final Fantasy X, I think one of the back of the box items was that you could jump occasionally.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess that would have been relatively new.
For JRPGs and like especially Final Fantasy itself, it was the first one that had any kind of like jumping exploration.
Yeah. I mean, Final Fantasy XIV launched without jumping.
Yeah.
It was one of the most requested features for 2.0. I like that the enemy is just a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's a it's a police bike too. Like you can almost tell that it's police.
Yeah. It has the
But also
lights.
also the police bike has machine guns on it, but you know.
Just stay out of my way.
Yeah, I've been really bad about tracking which enemies are new. I'm not sure if going into the enemy information after a Libra during combat would be useful for anybody. Actual boss fights, I will probably be bringing up the Libra information because they'll usually throw some additional tips in there. Power chain is just a stagger enhancement. And we are done. That is the entire Commando Crystarium up to the point that we have access to at this point. I can get one extra node in the Ravager tree.
So yeah, like you said, pretty easy to cap out since you capped out Commando already.
Yep. It does give... They're not stingy about adding the enhancements to the trees, but they are storyline. So close.
Alright, he starts off with Synergist.
It's very little in the
Yeah.
way, though.
I see that.
One thing that is different when other characters get different roles, they might have different skills available earlier. So the Ravager Crystarium is not necessarily the same Ravager Crystarium that everybody else has.
Whoa! This whole place is crystal.
Like
We
an
established
observation. Yeah. After walking like half a mile, you've noticed.
I wonder what it'd be like to become a crystal, I mean.
You gonna complete your focus?
Maybe. If I knew what it was, I probably don't want to know.
Hey, Lightning. Did Sarah say anything to you about her focus?
Nothing.
You know what? She probably didn't want to worry you.
Or she just didn't think she could
Or maybe
trust
she
me.
didn't know what it was just as much as you don't know what it is.
I don't know, it seemed like she knew.
It certainly seemed like she figured it out. Yeah, sometimes you can just have abilities this. So it will automatically target the next enemy with skills, but if they have the, if the fireball or something is actively traveling, it'll just waste those ATBs.
Stay sharp.
Best defense, good offense.
Especially if it's staggering.
I realized I didn't look at what the abilities I just got were. Yeah, so Saz has coverage for both the physical and magical elements fairly early on, but right now it's just fire. Whereas when we had Snow, he was mostly the physical elements, and Vanille was pure magical elements.
No need to be all negative.
This is a very convenient cave.
Yeah, maybe a loading cave?
Could it be?
It was a PS3 game.
Well, hey, the background track changed.
The a lot of the area themes in here, I think, very much fit in the like lo-fi tunes to relax to category.
What's that? I think I recognize it.
So yeah, that boss we fought, we can just preemptive strike it.
They really wasted no time making that a normal enemy.
Yeah. Oh, you learned how to handle this thing earlier, right?
Well, as a preemptive strike,
Stay
though, to be
sharp.
fair, it's
I don't think I hit like 999, unfortunately. I tried to, but it's
it can be pretty tough. Yeah, like, not killing them first, I mean.
Just stay out of my way.
and you can see the damage differential from the Ravager versus the Commando. Obviously, enemy stats play into that a little bit too, but she was doing like triple what they were doing per hit. I don't even know why that person was part of that combat encounter.
Nobody certainly isn't anymore.
Just stay out of my way.
The difference in power between lightning and the normal average soldiers is
But now that she has a focus,
yeah. Like how these ruins are interspersed with crystal, but it's a different colored crystal that you saw some of on the way over here. I don't know if that's supposed to imply it's been like that longer.
you see, I just thought it was fire, but like maybe something
Oh.
exploded and
Like parts of it look like it's frozen fire
yeah.
because it has like I don't actually know what the technical term for it is, but like those flame things coming off of it. But then there's also just very clearly crystal formations. Oh, Saz said even the flames turned to crystal. So how long were they burning?
Those will be our cold-blooded beasts, I take it.
Yeah, maybe this was still underneath the walkways, so like when the airship would crash land or something, and then the crystal wave came out.
Oh,
and
you know, that could be the case. You can see in the background of the battle scene here, there is like a
yeah, the roadway.
road section there. So perhaps the ruins weren't like completely collapsed either.
And then I guess the question becomes, what decides what gets turned to crystal? I guess it has to be highly elementally affinity or something.
Yeah.
But then, what's a high earth affinity? Or do we even have earth in? We have wind, fire, water, lightning.
Lightning.
Use some sort of devices for the magic. I don't think it's the same as the sea stuff.
Maybe not. You have ice. Do you have ice and water, or is it actually just...
I mean, typically we have aqua and
Oh yeah, you're right.
Hey, hey! It looks like we can get through here.
There is an earth affinity.
okay. So we take the critical path.
If she didn't do that mid-air flip, I don't know if she would have made it over.
We just loop around and maybe
But then we immediately ignore the critical path. I'm gonna need you to calculate the exact height that she had to jump to make that, and whether or not she would have cleared it by just a standard vault the next time we come through.
See, now that we're at like this location in the ruins, I actually think like this map is fairly comparable to like how most of them were in Final Fantasy X. Like in terms of like the corridoriness or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean the corridors feel relatively tight. I think it's a big problem because of trying to load things on a PS3. Like obviously the PS3 was more powerful than the PS2 was, but it wasn't trying to do a high definition details for a lot of things.
Yeah, but I mean, this area is pretty open compared to, like, I mean, the corridor we were at the end of the crystal section.
Yeah. But I feel like you had much longer sight lines in Final Fantasy X. Like, you get occasionally a sight line, but it's a very focused sight line. Like when she jumped through the tunnel and she looked up at the exit way, or whatever it was.
Somebody must have called for reinforcements.
That's fair. Only 3 stars.
Yeah, it was 6 seconds below par, but just still took too long. Yeah, because we mostly only have single target skills that people spread out, it can be kind of hard to get some bonus damage in.
I believe this is another case of boss becoming a normal enemy here.
Well, the second boss, the first, on the one ship that Saz and Lightning go to, this is a variant of that guy, because his armor just stands out. I think this guy's colors work a little better as like a military person.
Yeah.
Stay sharp.
But the high collar is still, I don't get it. And those things are still pushovers.
Yeah. This game almost needs the, like, Earthbound auto battle feature if you can, like, one-shot them. Well, I guess in this case it would be one-round them with the combos.
It was obviously the safer solution.
Yeah. The landing could have been dangerous if she just, you know, jumped normally. But despite being called SciComm trackers, they more or less seem like they're just hanging out in an area.
Well, they're tracking you so well they know where you're going to go, and instead of them having to exert extra energy, you'll be worn down when you get there.
I see.
And there's some palm trees in this area, so like, I don't know how related it is to Bodum, the seaside village that you came from, but I guess it's possible that Bodum was on the same lake.
It is very possible. They do call it Lake Brescia. I don't know what specifically the name is for the the lake in Bodum. Or if anybody.
Just stay out of my way.
Yeah, so this combat becomes a lot longer if we don't get the
Stay
damage
sharp.
strike on him. He has much higher defensive stats than what we're used to up to this point. But taking down the ads first is always helpful.
Why is it always the bad hunches that turn out to be right?
I wonder what
I haven't-
Saz could be referring to.
Yeah.
We outran him. We'll be okay now.
I guess possibly just the airship showing up.
Wow.
I think Vanille's having a time.
Stay close.
I want to look around.
Yeah. Go stare at the fire, I guess.
Neil.
And so breaking the fire crystals makes some fire?
Oh, that makes sense.
Knock out stasis.
Maybe Snow had the right idea when he was chipping away at Sarah then.
Yeah.
So it is called the Garuda Interceptor.
Yeah, the Garuda is your wind summon in a lot of Final Fantasies. I don't think we get another real reference to Garuda, if I'm remembering correctly.
No, we don't. And actually, like, I happen to remember reading about this. The main reason it's called Garuda Interceptor, even though it's kind of just like a modified Wyvern, is that Garuda was a planned fal'Cie that there was concept art for, and it never made it into the game.
It's last moments.
So I'm guessing they kind of just named this Garuda Interceptor to have a reference there in some way.
Yeah. Like maybe she was the fal'Cie for military vehicles or something.
Yeah.
Like this set piece with the changing arenas and stuff is pretty nice, but ultimately, if you know how to build stagger meter at this point, it kind of just falls over.
It does help to reinforce the kind of intention behind the mechanic there, with it not really taking damage until that
Yeah.
point. was a little bit of a close call.
Yeah, even with that, still only got 4-star. But we got a new shop, Crystarium expanded, some new roles available. Oh boy.
Check it out!
Come on, hop to it. Let's go.
That's a cute bird.
I bet there's nothing foreshadowing about it.
They really want you to know that there's a bird there.
And that it's watching you.
This'll make things easier.
Uh-huh. Yeah, knowing our luck, it's probably missing an engine.
You shouldn't be so negative.
And you shouldn't get your hopes up.
It is awfully convenient.
I mean, they like when Snow stole those motorcycles. They need some way of getting to where we are right now, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Snow,
Clearly has made a lot of progress.
I gotta keep working.
Sweep kick to base. The C spot. I repeat, the C spot. Pulse the C. Confirmed.
You gonna lend me a hand or what?
I'm not sure how they could identify that he was a Lassie from all the way up there. If it's just the tattoo.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that's awfully convenient. But then again, maybe they didn't, actually, and just the fact that he was there was enough justification to label him that.
Clean up. Let me help.
Psycom Supreme with the crop.
Right?
So we get no opportunity to explore our expanded Starium. Check our shop.
Just gotta remember.
I don't really know why I decided to try and use Ruin here. Didn't change anything. Except doing about half the damage.
But from range.
Couldn't risk it. You stab me, I punch you.
What's he doing? Watch yourself. Stay alert.
Some of the dumbest character design.
What do you mean?
Whoa, who's that?
Only one of the best characters.
So yeah, basically this is the equivalent of our summoning trials. So they're called Eidolons in 13's world. And you have to do a combat puzzle, I guess is probably the best way of describing it. Defeat them without actually just lowering their HP. You basically need to build stagger on them. And Libra helps substantially in figuring out what they're looking for.
It is definitely more of a trial than a combat encounter.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't even think you can reduce their HP to 0.
No. But luckily, they really won't reduce your HP either. You have Doom on yourself, but your HP won't go down. Thanks to one of the Shiva sisters here, who's constantly healing you.
Yeah, the one that you're fighting is Nyx, and I believe the other is Styria?
Yeah, I mentioned at least the one that I focused in Libra. Just, they don't stick with my head as much, and they always come together after this encounter. So I'm just getting pelted for now. Libra said I had to build stagger, so I'm trying to build stagger. I just can't seem to combo it long enough and high enough. The meter's moving a little bit, but it just doesn't seem like I can really maintain it. I don't... Oh, here we go. Yeah, so this one is Nyx. Yeah, so blocking the ATB charge abilities from her substantially increased her Gestalt. Almost to the point where doing anything besides just sitting in cover the entire time feels almost worthless. And then you have to do a single button prompt once it's full to activate. And yeah, they're a motorcycle.
Which just makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to say about that. It's just, yeah.
The twin sisters. I gotta hand it to you for taking them down. But don't gloat just yet. Might come a time you wish you'd let them end it. And made things easy.
More of you, huh?
He's a Lassie. Take him.
Back off.
You want to keep breathing? Shut up and come quiet.
Bring her this way! Careful now! Come on!
These Skycoms are wearing blue armor. I haven't seen blue armor yet.
Sarah! Sarah! Shut it.
Stand down.
You two. Why are you helping them?
If I were you, I'd worry about myself.
Her mark also looks a little different.
Substantially different. And so knowing Saz as a pilot makes this make a lot more sense.
Yes.
Knowing Lightning is not a pilot makes that make less sense.
Did we get him?
We got one of them.
They're still behind us.
Stop that! Hey! I said stop! You wanna die?
How are you gonna lose him?
You got me, kid.
Then let me.
No, thank you. They're still on us? We're taking hits. Come on, give me a break. Hang on.
The R2 just wanted to make their own Millennium Falcon run, right?
I think so. It's pretty inspired by those scenes.
Next, an update on the status of the Purge. Just moments ago, the Sanctum announced the successful conclusion of the Purge, along with the safe arrival of the Cocoon migrants to their new homes on Pulse.
Yes.
I think this might be some fake news.
There's no denying the enormity of the strain.
It's nice that they stopped shooting at us long enough for us to get some exposition.
But given the tens
Right?
of millions of lives at stake, there truly was no alternative.
Is that you, Yevon?
Primarch Daisley stood by the move, stressing the necessity of the relocation. When asked about the possibility of future purges, the Primarch remained non-committal, stating only that he would seek counsel with the fal'Cie Eden and weigh all options before making a decision.
Yeah, that's right. If it makes the Sanctum look bad, it never even happened.
In all the centuries since the War of Transgression, Cocoon has been spared Pulse aggression and prospered for it. It is essential that we maintain this peace. That is the Sanctum's focus. We will continue employing every resource available to combat these threats to the harmony of our society.
Meaning, we'll be running for the rest of our lives.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
who is this guy?
I mean, what do they teach kids these days? He is Gallant Daisley, the Sanctum Primarch. Murderer-in-Chief.
According to our Insta
Just
poll,
another
nearly
tool of
90%
the
of Cocoon
fal'Cie.
citizens agree with the Sanctum's handling of the Purge. 70% of respondents said they would also support additional purges were the need to arise.
Let's purge everybody. That'll fix it.
That's a
No
nice
one's on Cocoon.
unintentional Instagram reference.
points for
as
perseverance.
co-pilot's Baby Chocobo.
Much cuter than Chewbacca.
A sanctum fal'Cie up close and personal. Cocoon's own light in the sky. Here we go again.
Fly in. We'll lose him in there.
I like this fal'Cie.
There's more of them!
I don't like it so much anymore. I'm sure we'll survive that crash completely unscathed.
Yeah, it can't end like this.
Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next week.